Hello and welcome back to Adulting Anonymous. My name is Kudzai, your host, and I am so glad you could join us and listen. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the support with the Women's Month issues that we've been putting out. Like, we've spoken to different fantastic and phenomenal women who have just left us inspired and encouraged to do more and basically navigate our lives as women. And if you're a man, you know how to treat your women better. Today is the last episode for our Women's Month, and I am so honored to have my guest here today. Most of you obviously know her.
Yeah, boy.
I have the makeup extraordinaire,
Yes.
the boss lady herself,
Yeah,
Miss
boy.
Elinah Success Mangena.
That's right.
Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Kudzi. I am so excited. This has been so long coming. I'm so glad we finally
Guys,
done
if
it.
I tell you it was hard to get hold of this lady, but you know what? God is great. We are here.
We made
here.
it.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, I'm doing so great. I'm actually glad you said Elinah Success Mangena, because most people don't know that actually success is not actually my government name or my name given by my parents. The name actually I gave it to myself when I was in high school. I remember it was with my friends. So people were giving themselves names that they were gonna be when they grow up. Some were world changer, some were fantastic. Like I remember Tolani, world changer, Moyo, and I'm like, I'm gonna be success. So that's how I
It's
gave
not your
myself.
government
No,
name.
actually, my second name is Primrose.
Really?
So I gave myself the name Success.
And you spoke it and it became.
Coming,
You know why we are saying she became in a few. That is actually interesting. I've always thought, but you've also said, I think one of your posts you said someone actually thought you were called ES.
ES Mangena.
Yeah.
Because on Instagram it's ES Mangena. So I have people call me S Manga from ES Manga. They literally thought it's just one name.
Yeah.
So usually when someone says S Manga, I'm like,
oh my gosh, I actually would never have guessed. So now people just refer to you as Success.
Success Mangena, but most people think it's Esma. Oh, most people call me the boss lady.
The boss lady, literally, that's how I know you.
The boss lady.
She's also the boss lady.
I actually would tell you how I got to
become the boss lady. Maybe let's start there. So if you haven't noticed by now, we are here empowering. This episode is all about making boss moves, learning a skill and turning it into your bread and butter, and basically being of the spirit of excellence, being excellent in everything you do, despite your circumstances, despite where you're placed, and despite your country. So, yeah, that's what we're talking about today. So, you were in corporate.
Yeah.
And then you started your business, which is in makeup.
In makeup, yeah, in the body industry.
And then were you working in both at the same time, or did you just what led to that? I want to leave corporate, and how did you gain the courage to actually do that?
So it's where do I start with this? So just maybe to give you a background of who I am or what I was or what I am both now.
Yeah.
So I was more of a tomboy person. Like I grew up with 4 of my brothers. So my environment was so male dominated, fifth with my dad. So it was so male dominated. Like I love sports. Not only because of my brothers, but I love sports as well personally. So there was nothing girl related at home. Like I didn't even know what a face wash was until I think I was like 22. I was like, oh, there's this thing. So it was that bad. I always say in my other life I could have pursued sports or dance professionally because I love those things and
Can you dance, girl?
Listen, Shy Ayobanja. Listen, I loved dancing so much. I still even do now. So what happened is that when I moved to South Africa around in 2011, that's when I was like, these people are looking nice everywhere. When like this
South African women are gorgeous, and they smell so good.
nice. So I was like, you know what? I think it's about time I also,
started taking care of myself. Yeah.
So that's when I actually bought a toner. This toner that I got, I didn't know what the toner was for.
Yeah.
Zizo Mbeda was still the ambassador for Ghana, the former Miss Teen South Africa. And on the ad, they literally don't show you when you wash the face, then you apply the toner and apply moisturizer.
Yeah.
They just show the toner part when she's going softly on your skin on the toner. So I'm like, let me get this toner now. Time I look nice like her.
That. Yeah, I also want to look like her.
And I bought the toner. Listen, I'll bath with the green bar soap. I'll apply Vaseline and apply the toner and go to work. Because I had no clue. Like, that's how much better I was. But luckily, I stayed with an amazing roommate. I think it was around 2013 or 14 thereabouts. When I was now doing corporate. And then she was more girly than me. She was like, can I do your makeup when I'm going to work or going to church? I'm like, okay. Oh my gosh, here we go again. And then she did my makeup for a while. And then she got married and she was moving out. So she moved out, and like, I was beginning to like that thing. Hey?
The makeup.
I was beginning to like, I was liking the way it made me feel more than anything, which I didn't realize. Now, that the moment I put makeup, it kind of like allowed me to explore the other side of my personality. Okay. So I will become more confident. You know, when you look good, there's a way you walk. There's a way you
have a spring in your step.
Yeah, like there's a way you just look at yourself. Yeah. Even when you leave the end, you know that it's like dressing good. Yeah. You know, when you enter a place, you've entered inside. It doesn't matter who says what and how they say.
You know, you can back
You
yourself.
know, you can back yourself. So I'm like, let me try that thing. And she always said, use a brown eyebrow pencil. I think that was the first thing
she taught you.
She told me. And what first makeup thing that I've ever bought myself
was a brown
eyebrow. A brown eyebrow pencil from Small Street. So I bought that eyebrow pencil and I started doing makeup. And I didn't know that I was actually doing good and better than most people. And by that time, I was just doing it to look good myself because I loved looking good. I know at that time I used to love doing my hair. So for the longest, I was just doing the makeup myself and enjoying it. So there was a time when at work, when I was as I was a sales consultant, I was going to a client. When I arrived at the client, she was still in a meeting. And the security lady comes to me like, oh, I like the way you do your eyebrows. Can you do my eyebrows? I'm like, I have time to kill.
Why not?
I might as well. So I ended up doing the whole face. And my client comes, I was like, oh my God, it looks so great. Who did your makeup? She's like, she did. She just comes to me, she's like, so how much do you charge? Listen, being in Zimbabwe, I just had money. I just had
how much?
So I could have been paid right now. I'm like, I legit pretended this is what I do as a side gig. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to send you a quotation. She's like, yeah, so my friend is getting married. It was like in 2 or 3 months. So yeah, we need a makeup artist. I'm like,
don't worry, I got you. I got you. Wow.
At that point, I actually didn't even know how it works from there. And then I think 2 weeks later, she's like, so when are you doing a wedding trial? Because my friend wants to see the makeup before. I'm like, wedding trial? What are we talking about?
What's a wedding trial? Yeah.
What are we talking about? Luckily, internet, and I think because of my low background or being in corporate, and it kind of like makes you think at that point how to brand everything. So I went online, wedding trial, YouTube, wedding trial, doing this. And I'm like, I'm gonna come through. I think I said I'm gonna come through that week. Yeah. And at that point, every day I'm on YouTube. Okay, you do this, you do this, you do that. And
self-taught, the self-taught in self-taught makeup artists.
And at that point, hear it. I'm making my word to her, and I'm legit praying. I hope she's the same shade of foundation as I am, because I just have my own foundation. I think 2 or 3 brushes and the small palette of eyeshadow. I think it had 4. Yeah. A small shade of eyeshadow. But when I get there, I legit pretended I've got a PhD in this thing. So she's like, no, can you do this look? I'm like, no. So let's try out this look, because I know I only practiced
that one look.
One look. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I think this look is gonna be nicer. Let's do this one.
Let me recommend.
Let's do this one. But my confidence level is now 100. But inside I'm thinking,
oh my gosh,
my head. You said to Paul, just open your mouth and I'll put words in your mouth. Here's my head, okay?
Give me the words.
Give me how to draw these eyebrows. and she was slightly darker than I am. But thank God it didn't come out so bad. I think when you do eyebrows, I think it makes it look like nice.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking, oh my word,
That was
oh
horrible.
my
Did you take
word.
a photo of your face?
Yeah. Actually, we posted it a year later. And like, did you even know that you're my first client? She was laughing. She's like, but I look so great. What do you mean? So then she books me after that. She's
Yes.
like, so I have 9 bridesmaids. How much do you charge? I'm like, oh my
Yo,
God.
money.
Do you charge the same amount as what I charge her? Like,
Yeah.
how does
How
it work?
does it
I've
work?
not done one person for one event. Now I have 10 people to do for the same event. Am I even going to be able to do 10 people for the same event? I'm going to send you a quotation.
Yeah, and then you go back and you Google
looking for other makeup artists. How much do they charge?
So did you have any friends in the makeup industry?
So we had a lady from church who she had been in the industry for a while, but she was more on a different kind of makeup artistic side, and she was more conserved because at that point I didn't know that it could be a career in itself. It could be as big as I now know it to be.
Yeah.
So I really didn't.
As big as you are
yeah.
now.
Yeah. So I didn't know. But I'm so glad that when I had anything to ask, she was there to really help me out. So from there, luckily, I had a friend of mine who was doing directing as a course, and one of the modules in directing, film and directing, is makeup artistry, because she had a whole case of makeup. So I'm like, friend, I have 10 people to do now. I only have one foundation, right?
I need.
Can I borrow your makeup kit? And I'm so glad she gave me, but your girl doesn't know what all those things are for. Those are the first time I was seeing those things.
You're like, okay, this is information overload.
Literally on the day when I was doing their makeup, I was figuring, oh, so this brush, oh, when it's this small and it's like this, it does this. When it's this small like this, it does this. And that was my first client. Literally, it was 2 days in Durban. And
did they fly you out?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, my first client was like, booked my flight. They were asking me, so, do you need any transportation? I'm like, yeah, no, okay, we've booked the flights and put accommodation. That was my first client now for 2 days, because South African weddings, there's always the traditional wedding and the white wedding. And then after that weekend, I'm like, so the man I met this weekend, Pella, why am I working? Why am I working up in the morning and going to suffer like that?
Yeah.
So from that time, that's when I kind of like started paying attention to the skill. But I was still working, and I would meet people in a Gauteng, like, I would like your makeup. How much do you charge? And I was still charging sick by them, like, literally. And
how much was your first rate card? That first
I think it was 250. Covering transport and everything. Yeah. And I was not even making profit, because whatever amount I'll make, I'll go buy one brush.
Okay.
I'll go buy lipstick. I'll go buy
so powder. You were building your own
own makeup
case.
kit. Yeah. Because I was using the most basic stuff when I started. Like, you won't believe it. So that's how it kind of started out. And then I was getting more requests, and the more I did it, the more I became more confident. I think the more also the skill got better. And the more I got more sick at work, where I couldn't go at work. I'm having a headache. Then I'll go to a client. Yeah. But then there was a time, so I'm a Christian, like, it was so hard for me to even send that text. Say that, but I'm like, I can't lie anymore. Yeah. Here I just need to make a decision. And I'm doing this thing, or I'm not doing this thing. And when I decided to leave, I literally had a conversation with God. I'm like, God, I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to trust you that this is a gift that you've given me. Because I can't say there was ever a point where I sat down and I decided to be a makeup artist.
That is true.
Or I decided to really practice makeup and then start looking for a client. It literally came to me, and people started coming to me, and I just perfected the skill as we were going by. So I was like, God, I'm leaving my job. Can I get to a point where I'm overbooked, where people continue to look for me? And I can tell you, ever since that time, literally that's what has been happening.
Wow.
I don't even miss corporate at all. There's never a day where I'm sitting and I'm thinking, I want to go to...
So you don't see yourself going back to corporate?
Not even one day. Not even one day. I don't miss, especially, what I used to hate about, maybe because I was doing job. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes we need to discover who we are, not who we think we are, or not who other people think we are. Because I think one of the most things growing up is dreams are enforced to us. Or a certain perspective is enforced onto us. It's like either go to school, work for somebody,
become a
you'll be
doctor,
happy. Become a
engineer,
this,
accountant, or lawyer.
Exactly. So you never get the opportunity to discover you and what you want to be. Because after that, then I realized I actually love this thing.
This is what I want to do.
It's meaningful to me. Someone else might be like, makeup artist, what's really that? Like, that's so small. It doesn't sound better like a lawyer. But you'll be shocked that they are making more than people sitting in the office.
That's true.
So I feel like one of the most things that this has helped me was to discover my purpose. It has helped me to discover me. Because when I do it, it fills me. Like I sleep so nice at night.
And you live like you feel gratified that you're doing what you're supposed to be
Even
doing.
if you call me at 2 a.m.,
you're willing to do that.
But I used to hate 6 a.m. Because every time I go to bed, I'm already like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 a.m. I need to wake up. Oh my gosh. Now you're going to think of traffic. You're going to think of that. It never, I had the joy of I'm going to work.
Now you look forward to it.
It just felt like I'm fulfilling a Monday so that I just get paid month end. And the pay even felt like it wouldn't be enough.
Okay. So how does a typical day in your new job, like, well, as a makeup artist, as the boss lady, what's your typical day look like?
So that's I think the nice thing about it, that it's always spontaneous. You can never say I'm gonna have a part. That's why it was so hard for me and you to meet, because I can sleep today thinking, tomorrow
I'll be fine.
I'm just gonna be home. Then in the morning, calls can start coming in, or maybe we do a particular shoot that ends up being longer. We thought this is just gonna be 1 hour, because it's creative. It's a creative process, so inspiration can come right there, where people are like, no, I think let's do it this way. Then things change. So every day is always interesting. You're always meeting new people. You're always discovering things that you also didn't know you could do. I'm on set. I started as a makeup artist only, but then I ended up now doing styling. Because now when I'm on
now
set,
you're also called an image
consultant. Yes. So then I started styling, because then I noticed, no, I actually have the eye to make sure that the picture looks great. I think that's what also helped me my business to grow, because I ended up working with a lot of photographers in this way, that if 10 photographers are booked by clients, different photographers, it means I'm also booked 10 times in that week, and I didn't even have to look for the clients to start with. The reason being is that photographers knew if Elinah is on set, everything
is
perfect,
taken
because
care
I'm gonna
of.
look at the hair, look at the makeup, look at the outfit, look at the way they're posing. That's why I also do art directing, which I enjoy so much. So that's how the expansion, or what you end up discovering about the foundation of One Gift, which was just at the beginning,
opens
makeup
room for
career.
many. Oh, that is so deep.
So it's exciting. So I can't say that in a typical day
looks the same.
I can only say maybe weekends are the most busiest.
Yeah, that's your
Mondays.
weekday,
For me, Saturday is more like a Monday. On normal circumstances outside COVID, Mondays it's weddings. I'll have 2 or 3 weddings, which means at a wedding we'll probably do like 7
minimum 7
people, because it's the brides and the bridesmaids and the mother of the bride, and so minimum. Then morning wedding. Then now I think a lot of people love evening or afternoon weddings, then you move to that. So weekends become most, but not all the time, because a lot of shoots happen during the week, because the artists usually work over the weekend. So sometimes you might be shooting something, especially production. So it's hard to say, but I can say weekends, that's when it's the most busiest.
That is so cool. So, and what would you say is the hardest thing that you've encountered? You mentioned earlier that there's a time when you were homeless. Was that time when you were boss lady, or was it still in corporate? What's the hardest thing about working for yourself?
Nothing. I can tell you that. Or maybe because I now look at things different. I'm not saying there are no challenges.
Yeah.
Here's one thing. But I think I am prepared for the challenges. So I feel like everyone faces the same challenges, but how we look at the challenges and how we deal with the challenges is what makes everything different. I feel like I face those challenges, but because I've found a way of dealing with them, I never see them as big.
As a being
Actually, when I was home, my toughest times in Joburg is when I was doing corporate, where I was doing jobs that did titles, where I was doing jobs that's when things went. That's when making ends meet until the month end
was really difficult.
Nightmare. But ever since I started doing this, so I think I once did a series on my YouTube channel where um the pros and cons of being a makeup artist, the challenges, how to be a makeup artist, going to makeup school. So I used my education to start with to help me deal with this as a business. Makeup artistry or creativity, it's more of your personality. It's more of an expression of your personality. So if you get that right, because you're gonna meet clients differently. Clients who are happy, clients who are sad, who are angry, who are what. But because I've kind of like taught myself or structured my character in a way that I want to change the environment. I don't want the environment to change. I want to control the environment. Actually, when I'm working, I want to control the environment. So the moment I walk in to a client, I'm in charge of the
environment. And you mentioned your YouTube channel. We'll talk about that. But it's difficult. I think in any situation, especially if you're like a foreigner or if you are black in a male or sorry, if you're black and you're in a white dominated place, or if you're a female in a male dominated place, but you are a Zimbabwean who's flourishing in South Africa, which is in the creative industry, which is unheard. It's not unheard of. It's rare and it's hard. How did you navigate that?
Actually, I was about to come to that. I think I remember once worked with a photographer who didn't want to pay me, and they reminded me, "Don't forget that you're Zimbabwean." And I was like, so what?
What do you
so
mean?
they're trying to threaten me. I have no idea. I just actually thought that it's something that he has been doing for a while, so that he just doesn't pay you. Because we consistently felt that being a foreigner or being Zimbabwean doesn't deserve you certain things. Like you must give free labor or
you must
stuff.
work for free.
Or I don't know if ever he thought I have no idea, but he reminded like, don't forget you're Zimbabwean. Ended up going to the client where we did the client. I'm like, I'm sitting with your client for me just to get payment.
Oh my gosh.
Or sometimes it's only after I've done the work that someone actually now starts treating me
like a human being.
Probably.
So you need to first prove yourself.
Yes. Or when you're working, like, oh, by the way, you come from Zim. Oh, okay. Then when I'm done, it's like, oh, wow. Oh my God, I'll call you again. So those are the things that you get, from the beginning.
It's inevitable,
But I also didn't allow or hide who I am.
Yes.
I'm like, I can't change that I'm Zimbabwean. Funny reason, I think what makes me a little bit sad is that why is it being Zimbabwean has become so wrong? Is it because of the economic situation?
It definitely is. I think people have had, I think, especially from a South African point of view, I guess there's the xenophobia aspect.
Yeah.
There are people that feel threatened, because I always look at situations as people who are operating from a place of love and fear.
Yeah.
And I guess from a South African perspective, it's that people are scared that there won't be anything left for themselves in their own country.
Yeah.
Now, there's it's like an entirely different conversation to have, but that's basically why being a Zimbabwean has been frowned upon, that you have to learn Zulu or Tswana or any other language for you to blend in with the South Africans, because either people won't give you a job or people will beat you and burn you up,
so
or
true.
basically, and then we can talk about how they are perceived to be the dark people that don't bath, and so there's a lot of misconceptions and preconceived biases that are attached, and I guess
so that's the difficult thing.
stereotypes.
So because you see, I think what we do not realize as a people or as black people is that, you see, the same way you treating me, it's what you are crying about to the white person.
To the white person,
The
literally.
same thing that you are crying about. Because I was asking someone, when I meet someone and they ask for my passport, and I wonder, you at some point, a white person was asking you to carry a pass to get into
and
the
you had
town.
to strike and march for
Yes.
that to stop.
Then
So
you
why
asking me
to do the
so
exact
the
same
very
thing?
same pain you were feeling when they were asking you to do that is exactly what I'm feeling
Yeah,
now.
but it's always, it's okay when it's black on black
Black,
plates. Yeah, they don't
So
take that into
I always try to bring, like, you know what, it's been such a great country to be at, country filled with opportunities, and hope as well. And I understand where they're coming from, part of it. But we need to get with, like, the cake is big enough
for
everybody.
everyone. Yeah.
And they say life is like a wheel. You might be up at some point, but it will roll down again.
They say tables turn and no one's tables are made of granite.
Yes.
So
we need to be there for each other and support each other. Actually, the reason why it makes it so hard for Africa to go anywhere is because we have racism amongst ourselves.
Yeah, we've got self-hate.
I remember one of my Nigerian friends saying, it's expensive to leave Nigeria and come straight to South Africa. It's actually cheaper first to go to the UK and then come to
Are you serious?
South
Because
Africa.
they're trying to stop
Because
that from happening.
Crossing borders in Africa is difficult. Trading amongst
ourselves,
Africa is difficult than trading overseas. It doesn't make sense at all. It should be the easiest way. We understand we might be going through something and we need help. Like, we need help. That's why whatever Zimbabwe is going through. So it becomes tough at some point where you want to relate to people, and the moment they hear you Zimbabwean, it's like a thought comes, but need to, like, prove yourself.
I guess that's the thing. You need to then prove with everything you do, you are representing an entire nation.
Exactly.
And that's what, like, the responsibility that rests upon
And being
you.
a woman, imagine I'm being Zimbabwean, I'm being a woman, and I'm being black.
Because there's the white Zimbabweans.
Yes,
It's fine when it's them.
Yes. So it at some point, trust me, it's really tricky. But you need to face it in a very positive way.
Yeah.
Don't live under the shadow of being discriminated. It'll help you to come. But just look at yourself as, I'm going to be the pioneer of something. Especially looking at something that I never had the plan of. I actually don't look at all those issues. I get there and I bring my personality, who I am, and I live.
You speak about that. You speak about that a lot and extensively on your YouTube channel. That the makeup artist and the actual face is just a small portion of like what
I'm doing,
what you're doing, of the actual experience. So if I book the boss lady, I'm expecting you to come on time. I'm expecting you to bring your happy face. If I'm looking at my phone as you're trying to, you don't get frustrated with me. And so I've watched
all the videos. Because that's very important. You need to live, especially if you want to grow your business. People must buy into the experience. If I get into a wedding, trust me, I become the matron of honor. Like, I'll make sure the bride is fine, is fed, the water, because I want to live an experience. That when I leave, on your next booking, or when your friend says they're getting married, they need a makeup artist, they know who to call. Or you love me, and then you just become my friend at that point, so that when you think of a makeup artist, you know who you're gonna call. Because I'm just not only gonna do, because I've met places where they're like, yo, makeup artist, first she was late, when she got here she was so angry. I've been there when a client is calling me 10 times. No, it'll be calling me 10 times, like, oh, I booked you on the 10th. So I was like, dude,
I'm gonna be there. I remember I was one of those.
No, this client didn't. I'm like, I'm gonna be there as long as because they've had experiences with other makeup artists. But I want to grow a brand. For me, it's just not gonna be. That's why it's called the boss lady look. It's also an inside job. How to be a boss yourself. It's not only about the makeup on your clothes. How to be how do you present yourself
as a boss?
Nice.
And then, do you have like other people you work with, or are you like a one woman show? So are you your own accountant, your own secretary, your own talent, your own.
I know what you mean. So at first it was manageable. I could do nearly everything. That's why I'm glad that I actually got to study, because those things really come in handy. Because after I seeing that this is actually a career, I'm actually able to feed myself and my family. So you needed to be responsible, because if you're not responsible, the money will go into your account
and it'll
buy
get out.
KFC, get into your account and go out. So I was able to use that way. I put certain priorities when it comes to the business. Like everything that I do, even from posting on social media, is part of my
your brand.
business plan. Like, oh, I need to post 3 times per day. I need to post at this time and this. I'm actually so bad with social media, but if you don't know, you might think
you're
she's so great.
Yeah.
So I have to remind, like, it's part of the business. I need to do it this way. But I do work with other people. I have assistants. I'm very passionate about skills development. So I get to train. I just identify girls that I think can do something. We come on different difficult backgrounds, and if there's anything what this has taught me, that I didn't have money to go to school for it. I didn't have money to start it off. So I'm trying to teach girls that you can do that. Jobs are getting more scarce, whether educated or not educated. So equip yourself with a skill that no one can take away from you.
That's deep.
Even if I move to UK right now,
You
I
still
won't
be
get
able
broke. I can still be able to put food on my table. So equip yourself with a certain skill. So I feel assistant that I train you for. Actually, I train you to go work. I don't even train you for long. So they come and wash my brushes, or when I'm with a client, I show them how it's done. And I work with other makeup artists. I have about 3 to 4 makeup artists that I work with. Every time I'm overbooked to hang with my clients that I know they can produce as good as work as I do. So we have that working relationship, because you always want to keep your client service, not the day when you're not busy.
Then the world must end.
They must end. So you need to keep the balance. So I have other makeup artists that I work with, or when I have a bigger job, there are jobs where you get 20 to 30 people. You always need people to work with that are also gonna give good work. So I don't at this point, but I know going forward I'm definitely gonna need of an accountant, because the more clients you get,
I'm here.
Could just say that. So the more clients you get, obviously, the more admin is required, or the more on expenditure, on profit you're making. But luckily, this digital system has made it a little bit easier, because there are apps where wherever you load anything, it kind of like does most of the basic work for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Who inspires you?
A lot of different people inspire me.
Your top 3 women.
On different ways. So I relate a lot to Joyce Meyer.
Okay.
She's very practical in the way she
delivers
herself, and how she handles herself, and the struggles that she has been. If you have listened to her story, and I'm thinking, if she could come out of that and be Joyce Meyer, I definitely I
can do anything.
I can do anything. Miles Monroe, oh my God, I feel like that man was just a gift to mankind. His teachings, from both business side to spiritual side, to be like, wow, he preaches and like, is that there in the Bible? And you open like, yeah, it's there.
Why haven't I seen it all this time?
He's just such a gift. His books are absolutely amazing, especially when it comes to relationships. When he talks about marriage, singleness, etc., etc. And then I'll say 4 people, and then you have I have a great business mentor as well. He never wants me to mention him. Um, every time, I remember crying tears in his office before I even started doing anything in business. And he would tell me so much of life skills that have helped me until today. And as well as my mother, with what my mom is going through. And I'm thinking, how has she made it? It really does. It keeps me grounded. And I know it sounds so cliche, but for me, God has been such a big part of my inspiration in my
your
life.
story is definitely one of grace.
Yeah, for me, I can't even take credit of what I'm doing. Even now, when I get these clients, I remember one of the biggest things that happened to me this year is when I got a call from Basitana Kumale and Show My Josie. And I'm like, what? How? Like, even when they called me for a minute, I'm thinking,
you're talking about me?
like, How did you even know about me? The people have been in the industry for a long time. They've been working with other people for a long time. So that's when I see when the word of God says your gift will make room for you. I can testify of that for me. I can't literally take credit. Even when I look back, like I was telling you how I was once homeless in Joburg, but here I am, I can't take credit. I have blind faith. Literally when I leave, I was telling you how much I don't plan some of the things. I just trust God. I'm like, God, I take him so literally. He said, you clothe the grass and feed the birds. For me, it's full stop. That's how I even went through COVID.
No, but not only when,
or what. That's my plan. That's my plan. I don't have plan B. That's how much I have faith in God. And trust me, he has been proving himself each and every day that I will supply. And he supplies. Imagine working. I used to work there 2-3 jobs, and I was stuck just making my rent. I was struggle sending things home. I was started finishing my my studies. I remember when I got my TV, my fridge, my microwave. I went with mine, and every time I was looking at it, I said, "This is mine from drawing eyebrows." Like, this is mine from drawing eyebrows. It might have not been a lot, but I just kept on thinking, how did all this come the way it is? So for me, God has been such a big inspiration or big part of anything I'm doing.
And you are an inspiration to us. It's so great to hear your story. I think most people haven't heard it. Well, I haven't. I just watched the YouTube channels.
They will hear it now.
Definitely. Just parting words. If you are, I know we did speak. It's COVID, and people are basically getting jobs laid off. It's a tough, it's a tough time. What advice would you give to someone who wants to turn their skill into their bread and butter, to basically start making money off it?
So let me tell you what, if start off with, know who you are. Okay, because when all this started, I took a time out on a lot of things. I focused on me. It was about a year or two where I addressed issues about me. Like, I know I used to be very short tempered. Like, I used to fight a lot at school. I know you won't believe it now, but I used to fight a lot of school, and I discovered, no, being short tempered doesn't make it alright. People like, no, Philomene, I'm short tempered. That doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't make
you
it
need to deal with that and work. So I identified honest conversation with myself. Okay, you are this, you are this. First, I worked on that. That when you work on that, it actually brings out the good in you. You also identify what's so good or what's so great about you.
About yourself.
So when I've done that, I then decided to be like, okay, so this is the things that I like, and I invested on the things I like a lot. I made time. I made time for. I know like watching movies. I know it might sound like small things, but the more you do things you enjoy, the happier you are. The happier you actually open up to the gifts that you have. Because when you live in frustration, I'm telling you, you're gonna struggle for a long time. So if you look at things in a positive way, COVID was the right time for you to discover your skill and perfect it. The good you have seen you can lose your job.
You can
see that it's not guaranteed. So look for it's there somewhere. But first sit down with yourself. Identify things that you need to work on. Identify things that you enjoy and invest in them. And then trust me, it's just gonna open up. Okay, this is what I like. Trust me, it might not sound like a big thing. Like I'm saying, I'm sure it sounded better like I'm a lawyer. It sounded way better than saying I'm a makeup artist. Actually, when you tell people makeup artists, they already put you somewhere. They've already skilled you and put you somewhere. So you need to look at the things you enjoy. Sam is baking cookies. How many Phonos? Phonos Bakery is not one of the biggest. But when he started, probably he was just baking cookies and everyone's thinking, cookies. So
definitely.
that small thing you enjoy
Don't belittle the little.
Don't belittle it.
And don't despise the days of humble beginnings.
So I'll just say to anyone who wants to start anything, shut your ears from what everyone is saying. Shut your ears. I was crucified from the beginning, where some people church thought now because I do makeup. I don't know how it always gets associated with things of the world. How I was crucified at the beginning. Oh my God, red lipstick, etc., etc. But I shut my ears. now they're the very same people who celebrate me,
And
you know,
book
the
you.
most, you know, that book me now. And I was telling someone, like, at some point, book me now. There's gonna come a time when you won't be even speaking to me. My assistant be like, let me check her diary.
Elena's phone, hello.
Hello, you know. So I think one of the things is that close your ears, focus, identify what you enjoy, focus. Trust me, it's gonna come to you.
Wow, that
gonna
is
come to
powerful.
you.
That is powerful. Well, we enjoyed hanging
And
out
I
with
also
you.
enjoyed having
Thank
you,
you
sister.
for coming on our pod finally.
Yes.
I hope this is a banging ending to our Women's Month issue.
Yeah.
If you ever felt, or if you still feel like anything is impossible, we have a story, we have evidence, we've got the receipts.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you so much for coming on Top Pod.
Thank
And
you
thank
so
you
much
for
for inviting
listening.
me.
Let us know what you think of the story. Please follow her and watch her YouTube channel.
Yes.
I'll tag everything in the description and all that jazz. But please do support her. If you have a wedding, if you just want to look pretty in your house,
Call me.
she's your girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.